So I've just had a really gorgeous afternoon at this bad boy. For somebody who completely loves property, but I enjoyed the building more than the modern art. I'm probably not, just didn't understand the modern art, but I thought the building was so beautiful. Wow. Anyway, so today I'm in New York. It's kind of nice to think about things and have some time to think about things. I'm just, and forgive the camera, it's just a selfie. That's Central Park there, and that's the Guggenheim Museum. Wow, so nice. So today, what happens when either people close to you or people you've never met before either criticize you or just don't give you that kind of support that you might be hoping for? It's going to happen. It's going to happen in property, definitely, for a whole bunch of different emotional reasons. So let's start with people you know. I know when I started, my parents didn't ever express that they were really nervous for me, but my mum was so sweet. Mum and dad live up in Glasgow. I live down in Bristol. It's like, you know, 300 odd miles. And my mum used to come, she wasn't retired then, down, you know, so she worked hard as a teacher, and then she would come and offer to clean, and often she would insist on cleaning my properties because she was trying to save me some money. And why did she do that? Well, because she was just so worried that she wanted to make sure everything went really well for me. So she didn't, my parents have been very supportive, but they didn't claw me back, if you like, but they still had a level of anxiety, because clearly when you're doing property you take massive risks, even though they're considered risks, that, you know, they are still big risks, and so there's going to be like a hint of fear and nervousness, isn't there? And that's only from love, and it's only from care, and only from wanting to try and protect you and look after you. The next group that I found kind of interesting was, at that point I still worked full-time. I worked with a really great group of people who were intelligent, considered. Actually, one of the people I worked with went and bought their own property investment property, so I'm really chuffed about that. But nonetheless, it felt, if you've ever seen that whole thing of crabs climbing out of a bucket, you know, one crab might be able to climb out of the bucket, but when there's a whole bunch of crabs, they end up climbing on each other and pushing each other down, so nobody can climb out the bucket. And, you know, my aim was really to get out of my day job, which is where I was working with them. Now, they were super people, absolutely smashing people, but even though they, on the surface, and I'm sure consciously really wished me well, there was again like a feeling of claw back, and it wasn't their fault. They weren't trying to do it on purpose. I'm sure they were doing it more out of care, and that's because, I presume, they didn't know anybody else that had built a multi-million-pound portfolio. We're all very aware of the risks, and they were just kind of like trying to pull you back and go, whoa, steady. So I had to be conscious of that, but maybe not always listen to it, but maybe listen to the bits that maybe were useful, like don't take too many risks, you know, take your time, which I probably didn't listen to too much. So your friends, your family, and your work colleagues may exert a pressure to draw back on you, and it's more from care than anything. So if you can understand it for what it is, accept it and be grateful for it, but then keep going and share your business plan and ask them for logical advice. But I would say that they are not the best people to give you advice. The best people to give you advice are people who have done it. So people who haven't done it are going to be nervous, and of course they are, for heaven's sake. You know, investing in property, spending millions of pounds, borrowing millions of pounds is a risk. People I think she's having a selfie. People who have done it are going to be the best people to allow you to kind of insulate yourself happily from your friends and family's concerns. So whether you go with a mentor, whether you go to lots of property events, whether you go online, just hang out with people for whom buying property is just completely normal thing to do. And it's like, you know, we do a deal a week. It's just normal what we do. Oh, that's Central Park behind me. So just be conscious of that, and there is a lot of research to show that you are the sum of kind of, or on average your income is the average of the 5 people that surround you most closely. And so if you are surrounded by people in jobs, nothing wrong with that at all. I'm sure they're smashing people, but they're going to think in a job mentality, they're going to think risk adverse, they're going to think job security, and you are either already or stepping into being an entrepreneur. So I would suggest you really want to be conscious of having some really strong peers who are entrepreneurs. These days, my mum doesn't come down and clean my properties. She comes down and I'm like, I feel like my little Mini Cooper is like is like the Queen's Rolls Royce. I'm like, come on mum, I'll take you on a tour of the properties we're doing. And it's really fun showing my mum around finished properties, properties we just bought, and properties we're renovating. You know, it's like taking high tea with the Queen, and we just go around. So it's nice, excuse me, from my mum to see that it's all worked out really well with her initial anxiety. I hope that's helpful. Good luck with everything. Oh, sorry about my fingers. And I should go and enjoy the rest of the day in New York. Take care. Bye.